Like Nikok, Surprise was my thesis film for my master's program. And I kind of went a little overboard being a producer, basically. I had planned Surprise 3 months in advance before we even began thinking about filming. But I wanted it to be perfect. Everyone else was having problems with their thesis. Other students from previous semesters didn't know exactly what they were getting into when they started, and I did not want to have that problem. So I wasn't going to struggle. I was going to plan and make sure it was perfect. Once I knew what my script was, I started on pre-production. And mostly that actually involved a lot of rewrites. It once took place in modern day, now it's in the 80s. I had it told in timeline order, and now there was going to be a rewind. Pre-production also involves a lot of planning, from locations, props, shot lists, storyboards, paperwork, finding crew, scheduling, catering, meetings, budgeting, scripts breakdowns. It's all tedious and boring. But you know what's not boring? Casting. And that's where Surprise wanted to really shine. Casting is my favorite part of filmmaking. This is why. I'm an actor, and so I know the importance of chemistry, especially with this cast. They needed to look like they were lifelong friends. So a chemistry read was very important. Anyway, I was worried about the film because it had a lot of tone inconsistencies, but switching from a thriller to a comedy was not something typically done. And then I got the Airbnb. It wasn't perfectly 80s, but it worked. I put all the gear into the master bedroom, and that's also where I slept. Everything was prepared for this 3-day shoot. And it was gonna go perfect. Hours before the shoot, I got into a terrible car accident and died. Just kidding, the accident wasn't that major, and I normally wouldn't tell people about the accident, but I had been arranged to be the driver of an entire carpool, so I kind of had to tell everyone. And that kind of put a spotlight on me, and it was crazy. And as a first-time director, a lot of it was intense. But I learned to compartmentalize everything, and I was able to get through the shoot with that. The first day surrounded all exteriors, and to help me kind of relieve that intensity that I was in was to have it as a relaxed and bonding time. Really focus on the connection not only between the cast, but the crew as well. The cast actually got so fun that in fact, they started making balloonies out of our balloons. It was raining, but by the time we started shooting, everything had settled, so everything was coming into perfect fruition. We had segmented the Airbnb off into segments. So like I said, I had my little office and a closet, and then I had a green room for both of the actors to hang out. And I had 2 of them, but basically the actors would just use the one. The idea was to create an atmosphere that everyone could feel comfortable and have fun. I even made a little director's office for me and my team to chat if we ever needed to talk. That way we wouldn't get in front of everyone and have these big, crazy discussions while we were shooting. Shout out to our DP Hoffney, who during our entire masters created such cinematic pieces. He is really good with lighting, so he did an awesome part with our setup. The green room helped so much that our actors created so much chemistry that even to this day, 2 years later, they all still talk to each other. One important highlight is Jessica, who plays Taylor, the one who gets scared on the couch. That was her first acting role. And it's so crazy that that was her first time, and now she's doing so much incredible things. I am so proud of our cast and how much they were able to. The second day was it was a lot of technical elements. We turned from a day to night, so it made it look like night. We also had, my office was vandalized, and our key grip was on the roof. And that's a producer's worst nightmare. It also focused a lot on the intimacy between the couple, and so yeah, I'm gonna go. The third day was the party. And while it was the most fun, it was probably the most technical out of all days that we had. And from what I remember, Surprise was, I guess, a very technical film. The biggest aspect was improv. We had the actors mostly create scenes. I had it scripted, but there was no dialogue. So they made up their experiences as they went along. And we could really tell that the chemistry work and having the bonding off screen really paid off. When it came down to the more technical element, there were 3 of them. The first one being the cup wobble. You wouldn't think the cup wobbling would be very technical, but it is. We put a piece of tape down on the cup so that it would simulate kind of a wobble but still have some control to it. Having that with the actor cut in between the reaction and the cup, it actually worked pretty flawlessly. I gotta take care of this. The second technical element was the balloon pop. We had the art director, Tia, pull on a string of the balloon so that it would go down during the pop. So that was very technical. The last technical element was the...
Let me show! My testes!
Overall, it was a very fun experience, and I learned a lot of it, especially as my first time directing. You good, Michael? Thanks for watching!